As the original star of such shows as West Side Story, Bye Bye Birdie, Chicago, and Kiss of the Spider Woman, she has always enticed and entertained her audiences. The proof? She's been nominated 8 times for the Tony Award, won twice, and is currently starring in a review of her life and career. Hello, I'm Ernie Manouse. Coming up on Interviews, our conversation with the star of the new show, Chita Rivera, The Dancer's Life, Ms. Chita Rivera. Have you found that Broadway has changed over the years? And by that I mean the way people come to it and what they expect, both from a performing side and an audience side.
That's loaded. That's a lot. I think a lot of audiences come expecting stars only, like some big star from Hollywood or a television star, which I don't think is a terrific idea. It's certainly great to have them, but there's so many truly talented actors and singers and dancers that somehow don't get a chance because, like an understudy, for instance, it goes on like when Carol Haney hurt herself and Shirley MacLaine was her understudy, and Shirley went on and someone was in the audience and she became this movie star. That doesn't happen very much anymore, not that I can recall lately. Yeah. There are a lot of revivals, and there's room for all of that. But what I miss desperately are original pieces. I think that's what the theater is really missing now. The tickets are extremely high. I understand that. It costs a lot to put things on. But we still need to have the great American original musicals.
Is that what drew you in originally?
No, what drew me in was a young girl who went to see a Broadway show with a friend of mine. I didn't really care that much because I was going to join the ballet. And then I went, ooh, that looks nice. And then my friend said, would you come with me while I audition for a show? And I went, oh, you poor thing, you have to audition for a Broadway show. How degrading. And so I went. And it's that story of when you don't, when you're not desperate and you don't care as much, you're brave, you have no fears, you can remember your name, and I just got out there and I auditioned. It was for Jerome Robbins, for Call Me Madam. And she was nervous because she needed the job. I had a scholarship to New York City Ballet, so I felt, free. And I got the job and she didn't. And it made me stand back and go, ooh, well, this might be fun because I love the audition. Yeah. And that's what fate. A door opened. I've always said, if a door opens, you don't have to jump, but certainly look in, peek in.
The thing that I always wonder about that story, did you and that girl stay friends after that?
No, we didn't. I haven't heard from her since. Not a word. I would have thought by now she would have forgiven and forgotten.
Yeah, but it never came around. Exactly. Now, you were doing ballet. Was it Balanchine you'd auditioned for him and they gave you a scholarship? Right. Yeah. Did you ever feel like you were cheating? You had left ballet, which is thought of as for Broadway.
That's such a good question, really, because I had such guilt. And I was really afraid that if I wanted to go back and take a class, that they wouldn't, they would really be angry with. And they weren't thrilled, not because I was brilliant, but because, a ballet dancer is a ballet dancer.
Right.
And you should continue studying until if you're going to join the company, you join the company. And I felt... I felt also for years I couldn't go to a ballet because I thought I didn't complete that trip. Yeah. If I'd just done one ballet, I would have felt okay, I did that. But no, I'm so happy things turned out the way they did.
Did you ever go back and do it, and why not?
Because thank God I was busy doing shows.
But I mean, even doing that for your own satisfaction, did you ever want to do something?
No, but you just can't just go back and do one ballet. You have to be part of company and da-da-da. But I was working with great choreographers whose choreography consisted of ballet, jazz, modern, everything. So I just kept growing in different directions as a dancer.
When you started out, and you say you started out in the chorus and dancing, at what point did you
Well, actually, in my
realize...
first show, I was lucky enough to be one of the 4 principal dancers.
Oh, well then, never mind.
But then I went back to the chorus,
Right.
which is cool.
At what point did you realize you had made it? What was it that told
Made
you...
what?
You had arrived.
No, you don't think like that. You don't think I've arrived.
Never?
I never thought I have. I mean, I think every time you do another show, it's like the first time. You have to keep up what you've done from the last. You've got to keep it going at that level and pray that you learn something different. And as you get older, you adjust to the age with grace, and with interest. It's exactly like life.
Yeah.
It's like waking up every morning and I'm hearing over the speaker, I'm hearing one of my songs over the speaker, and it's like really weird.
Yeah. There is such a body of work that is yours.
Oh
in
my
a
gosh.
sense. Do you ever feel like you really own that, or is it always just loaned to you for a time?
Well, when you hear it later, you just are so glad that you were there the first time it was created.
Yeah.
That's what you're really happy about. I mean, when I went to see the movie of Chicago, I loved it. Most of all because I knew it so well. Second of all, because Rob Marshall was in the chorus of The Rink, and he's a great friend, and now look at him. He's just gotten so brilliant, and he's
Rob
learned so
directed it,
well.
of course.
And Rob directed the movie, but when I saw it, I thought the girls were terrific. And yeah, when you hear that song, you know that you did it first.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing. You know that Freddie wrote those lyrics, and you sang. John wrote that music and was there at the piano when you opened your... I mean, these are... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are blessings.
Is there anything in life similar to that feeling anywhere else?
Well, I know my daughter's my daughter.
Yeah.
You give birth to a child, and that's yours, no matter how far away they go or what they, I was going to say what they marry.
Yeah.
Woo!
Should we explore that a little bit?
No, I don't think so.
Tell me a little bit about West Side Story.
Oh, what would you like to know? It was, of course, when we did West Side, when you're working, I always visualized us being the innards of something, us being the inside. You don't look at it from how you would look at it from the outside. We don't get that picture. We get the work inside, where you have to feel, you have to figure out how this, with the help of geniuses like Jerome Robinson, Lenny, and Arthur, and Stephen. So we were desperately trying to learn. We were trying to please these teachers, these geniuses. And so when we had our very first run-through, and the audience went off, they went crazy, we kind of looked at each other like, wow, gosh, did we, is it that good?
Yeah.
Because we were living the life of those people.
Can you recognize the greatness of something before it actually is performed? When you're looking at it, did you recognize something different in the West Side Story?
I know. I've been used as a thermometer a lot of times. Freddie used me as one. Jerry used me as one. Because if I see a great-looking car, I get goose pimples. I always said I cry at Popular Mechanics if it's really good. You know what I mean? And so I can only go by my heart and how I am moved, or my laughter. If I'm moved to laugh, and it's a funny piece. If you want to move someone, emotionally, and it requires tears or whatever. Jerry called me in during West Side, and I went, oh gosh, what does he want me for? Because the Jets were in one room with Jerry, and the Sharks were in another room with Peter Gennaro, and he called me out of my rehearsal and made me sit down in the Jets rehearsal, and they were doing the cha-cha, and And he said, just sit here, I want you to see. And when I saw the cha-cha, I just could not believe how brilliant it was.
Yeah.
You know, with that story. How brilliant the fact that they never touched, but they were together and they were dancing as one, which meant trouble, you know. And and that music, I mean, it's just so beautiful. And I started to, you know, tear up, and he said, and he looked at me and he said, okay, that's all I want to know. And he did. I left. And Liza and Freddie used to have me in the rehearsal sometimes whenever they'd see me, you know, go, oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, that's so funny. You know, they said, oh, yeah.
Do you find, though, that your reaction is the same as the audience at large? Do you think you're in sync with them?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
That's good.
I mean,
a lot of people aren't. And
yeah,
like, yeah,
right. No, I really think I am. Yeah.
The story that I heard was that when they opened West Side Story in London,
right,
that you were pregnant, so they held opening for you to be able to be in the company.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, Hugh Beaumont in London. He of course had seen it, and he wanted to do it. And I was a few months from having my daughter Lisa, and they waited, which was really swell. It did something for my ego. So the whole family went over, you know, and did it.
What happened with the movie? Why were you not in the film?
Well, I was doing Bye Birdie with Dick Van Dyke in Philadelphia at the time. And outside of the fact that I had signed a contract, and we were, I don't even know if we were rehearsing or if we were just doing previews. We must have been doing previews or something. And they asked me if I would come up to New York to see Robert Wise. And then, I couldn't. And so I said, jokingly, you think maybe they'd hold the movie?
Well, they've done it once
sure,
before.
Chita, they're going to hold it for you. Nobody knows who the heck you are. And so of course, they did not, and got Rita, who did a wonderful job. But I said I could never. My conscience would be too strong. My word is my word, and I would not have left this show because I was, you know, I had signed that contract and I'd given my time to this show and the company. And boy, was I happy Birdie was a hit.
Yeah.
I was one happy Puerto Rican woman.
I guess so.
Ooh. I think I might have made a visit to the... I don't know what.
It would have been a bit much, yeah.
It would have been not fair.
Yeah. So then, what was it that kept you going in this business? What is it about it that you truly love?
It's communication. It's, there's nothing like doing in a room with truly gifted people and seeing how they think and how they transfer it to you, and you're able to tell the story. I mean, you can tell the story just through the dance. You don't need words in certain circumstances. And then the words, you know, to say those it's like being different people. You know, you're not just yourself. But then when you get older, you realize actually it was Lenny that made me sit next to him on the piano stool and made me sing A Boy Like That as Anita through Chita. You know what I mean? He adjusted it so that my voice and my feelings would come through. So you sort of become that person during that time, and it's a wonderful feeling. I always say communication because to see an audience live something and respond to something in the theater immediately, it's like putting a plug in the wall and the lights come on right away. You don't have to wait. They come on or they don't.
As a dancer, do you come as a blank canvas for the choreographer to work on, or do you bring something that is you?
Well,
how do you find that balance?
You just automatically bring yourself in, even though you don't think. You think you're empty. Yeah. Because I'm a sponge, and just tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. But then if you're working with a great choreographer or director, you've been... The person that casts you also, you know, knows whether or not you're right for that role. So you already come in with you, and they know what up to this point in your life who you are, and then you then explore and put yourself in it as the character. So it's give and take, give and take.
Do you ever coast? Do you get to the point in life where you say, "I know how to dance.
No,
I'm coming in." You
no
still
way.
learn from everyone.
Absolutely, absolutely, because it requires blood and sweat, and each time is different because you're still learning. I've had a car accident, and I've had all sorts of things happen. So you have to adjust to all of that, and it's different. Just like each audience is so different. They respond so differently. So live theater for me, is the deal.
Was it considered a risk when Chicago was opening? Because if I understand correctly, it was based on an older play, had been done before. Did you have any worry that people just aren't going to take into it?
No, we, as a dancer hired by, we don't think like that. We'd say,
really?
we take the job. Do you know what I mean? We take the job. And now it's different. I truly read the script, and, listen, this is a perfect example. I get the script of Bye Bye Birdie, and it's written by friends of mine. And so they asked me to come in, and someone who's still working and who's a great comic called me and said, "Oh, I just went in for Bye Bye Birdie. It is so bad. It is so terrible. It's just awful." And I went, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to do?" I have to go in. So I said to my agent, Dick Seff at the time, "Okay, we're going to go in. We're going to hear the music." And Gower Champion was directing.
Yeah.
We're going to hear the music, and then I will say, "Oh, that's fabulous. That's really fabulous." And you will say, We'll get back to you. Thank you very much. It's really great." And we'll leave. We'll split. Nobody's hurt. Nothing. I don't have to lie. Well, I'm lying. I think.
Right.
So, I go there. They play the first act, and I flip. I love it. I absolutely I have got to be a part of this. I have got to. And my agent goes, "Wait a minute, hold it." And Ed Padula, who's passed on, our producer, he went, "Oh, great, let's talk." And so you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
You really don't know what's in the mind of the director, in the creative mind of the director and the choreographer and the librettist, and you just don't know. So, but you do have to hang out in the right neighborhood.
Yeah.
But you do have to also take some chances, too, with people that you don't know. You never know what's around that corner. You just have to keep working and keep alive and keep your own juices going and, keep your creative mind.
Now, I've heard it said that you have no enemies in the theater, and that you're the only person that they can say that about in theater today.
I put that out.
Oh, you put it out?
I hope not. This is it's a wonderful, it's a wonderful community. It's a wonderful profession. It's a beautiful profession. So, why have enemies? And if you do, disagree and things like that, which of course you do, that's natural. And you just talk it and work it out, and that's it.
Is team spirit lost in the theater, do you think, to some degree?
I hope not. I really, not in my shows.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You just can't do it without every single person really giving their genuine spirit. I really think that the last show I did on Broadway was Nine with Antonio Banderas, and he is phenomenal that way. He is a true team player, and it starts at the top, and so that was a great experience.
Now, you had a car accident that
Right.
really hurt your leg seriously.
Right.
And if I remember correct, that's before Kiss of the Spider Woman,
Yeah.
correct? How sure were you'd be able to dance again? Did you know? Was it pretty much?
You don't know. You don't know what you've got, what you don't have. You know that you've done everything the doctor said. You know the doctor said it's up to you. you know what you have as far as, because it takes time to heal. It takes years and years. Any person will tell you that. And you adjust to all of these things. You find different ways of doing things. It's interesting.
Yeah. Did you think it was over at any
No,
point during that?
not for a second.
Really?
Not for a second. I got to the hospital and the X-rayist said, "You really did yourself in good," and then I remember clearly shifting gears in my head to, okay, here we go. What are we going to do? You don't, after years and years and years, I don't think any athlete goes, I'll never,
There's not even that late night moment of that?
No.
Where you think,
no, just never did it. That is part of my personality, too,
Yeah. Did that make coming out on the Broadway stage in Spider Woman sweeter in some ways?
Well, I hear Gloria Estefan speak about that, and it's beautiful. And I remember when she came out, and for the first time, I saw it on television. I didn't step out there. It was Can, really. That was my first show. I left it behind.
Really?
Yeah, because it would just drag me down. What am I going to do with that? Just let's choreograph this, and if I can't do that, I don't do that, So we do something else,
Yeah.
But you always aim for everything and anything that's given to you, because that's the only way you're going to get stronger. You can't say, I'm going to, not do this because I want to pamper this, Besides that steel in there, that's going to last longer than me.
When Spider Woman ended its run on Broadway, then you took it on the road.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't do that. Why did you want to do that?
Because I loved that show.
Yeah.
I thought what Hal Prince did and Terrence McNally and what Rob did, Graziella Danielle brought Rob up, and he fixed my part of the show, the dancing, and Freddie and John, that score. I just loved it. It was so creative. It was so colorful. It was a story that I thought was absolutely necessary to be told. And I thought it was, take it across the country. Take it, watch people that would go, I don't want to go into a jail. Ooh, there are two men in there. Ooh, one is gay. Ooh. The story was about true love, which can be between man and woman, love of people, love of their mind, love of their differences, their friendship. And it was a huge story, and I really thought that it should be told. And it worked all across the country. It was great to see.
Did you find different regional reactions?
Yeah. But if a wife could keep her husband there long enough, he'll turn around. It was great.
And totally off point, but with what you just said, as a performer on stage, when someone gets up and walks out of a theater, can you sense it, and does it change? Does it ripple through the cast? Do you know that?
Well, if a whole group of people gets up and then something's, that's not good. But we kind of joke about it sometimes. I mean, West Side, we got, some people got up and walked out. It was too loud. I guess they didn't want to see boys in dirty jeans or whatever their problem. They got up on the wrong side of the bed that morning. But boy, did they miss out.
Yeah.
I'm sure they told people later on in their lives when they found it was a hit, oh, yeah, I saw that show. You know what I mean? They never saw the whole show. But, yes, it does affect you when somebody gets up and goes. But then later on, when you get older and you've been in shows long enough, you realize that person may be uncomfortable, he may be sick, he may,
Right.
Things happen. I've just fortunately never had anybody that kind of talked back to the stage.
Yeah, that would be rough. What about in your cabaret act? How do you enjoy doing that compared to the Broadway stage, where everything is so much more controlled and created?
Well, I loved it. It happened because Bobby had the heart attack, and Freddie and John and actually Ron Field said, let's do something. And that came from that hiatus we had. I loved it. It was exploring my being comfortable as myself, too. I had never gone out there as Chita, you know. And so I had to, like, just not hide behind a character, but be me. And there I was again in good company, in the right neighborhood, because Ron Field was brilliant. And of course, Freddie and John. And I had Tony Stevens, who was staging this show here, and Chris Chadman. And so it was thrilling, and we just thought it was going to be a little thing that we did in a bar. We ended up going, you know, to Vegas and all over the country, but I'm still doing it. We're changing things, not that one, but it opened up a door. Remember I said the door before? If the door opens, just peek in.
Last question before we let you go.
Okay.
How much of it is fate and how much is actual effort that you have to put into it?
Oh, it's both.
Yeah.
It's both. I mean, nothing is different about it's life, you know? You just have to, whatever you do, I tell the kids, whatever you do, you have to do it 200%. You have to make sure you're there. You're not someplace else, but you're there.
And we are happy you are here right now.
How about me giving you a good
Wasn't that a good way to get out? Thank you so much.
It's
a pleasure.
Really nice talking to you.
Chita Rivera. To order a transcript, call 866-652-3378 or send $6.95 to the address on your screen. Please include the name of the guest.